We are excited because this is the championship round of the World Cup Law Firm Edition, and we've gone through 16 different strategies, and we put them head to head to see which strategy would be the 2026 winner to helping law firms generate the most profitability in their firm. And here's a few things that we looked at in each round of the tournament. We looked at what the strategy was. We looked at how to implement the strategy. We looked at which types of firms are good for this strategy and which ones may have some challenges. We talked about both the good and the bad. And then we compared the strategies head to head in each round to see who would make it to the next round and who would make it to the next round. And now we are down to the final two strategies that have gone through each of the rounds. And we're going to talk about who's going to win in this strategy. Now, to give you a recap, our matchup for the finals, our matchup is a client lifetime value strategy versus a subscription pricing strategy. Now, each of these strategies have gone head to head with some other very great strategies. And what I will tell you is, depending on the specifics of your firm, you may find that, hey, one of these strategies would be very good for you. And what I will say is, if you stay tuned, after this video, we're going to tell you how you can download a copy to see all 16 strategies with some practical examples and explanations on how each of the 16 strategies work. But for today, we are going to talk about these two strategies, client lifetime value versus a subscription pricing model. So let's start with a recap on subscription pricing. So when it comes down to subscription pricing, it is very similar to a lot of the streaming apps that you have where you get access to a library of information, or you get access to, I could say, a scoped out set of services. And for that access, you pay a certain amount per month. Think, for example, like there are some car wash subscriptions where you pay X amount of dollars per month and you get access to up to 4 car washes a month. Or let's say a streaming app like say Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime, like you pay a certain dollar amount per month and you get access to a library of information. Now, what I will say is one of the things that has been very exciting about this, especially when you think about AI, is I've seen some firms actually looking at some strategies where they're taking their legal knowledge and they actually put it in AI and they create these AI chatbots to really help people. Hey, if you pay a subscription fee, you can get access to this private AI chatbot, which can give you general guidance. Now, you do have to be very clear that this is not legal representation. It is there to answer like important questions that you may have or give you insight as you're kind of navigating through different things. Or there may be areas where you're using your expertise and your knowledge base to help people navigate certain questions, help people navigate certain things. For example, you may have some contract templates that people may want access to. You can do a subscription pricing model where you have a library of contract assets or language that they should be keeping in mind. And they, by paying that fee, every month they get access to those things. So there are a number of ways that you can do subscription pricing models. And to be honest with you, what I would recommend a lot of people to do is this is where you can kind of use AI as a thinking partner for you. Because one of the things you can do is you can go into AI and say, hey, I run an XYZ type of law firm. I run a family law firm. I run an estate planning law firm. I run a litigation law firm, or any type of law firm, and you can say, hey, I run this type of law firm. I would like some ideas on how my law firm could possibly implement some type of subscription pricing model or some type of subscription service that we could offer to our clients. And what you can do is allow the AI tool to give you some ideas you can brainstorm on. Now, the ideas it gives you may not be ones that are ready to go to market immediately, but it could be a starting point to give you some ways to start brainstorming on how to implement a subscription pricing strategy. Now, on the other hand, when we get to a client lifetime value strategy, this one is a little bit different from just a transactional pricing strategy, but what this is, it starts to shift your perspective to not only look at the individual transactions or the individual services, what it does is it challenges you to look at the client relationship. And when you look at the client relationship, what you can start to see is that, hey, this person came to us for this type of legal services. But as you start to look at, all right, over the next year, over the next couple months, over the next couple of years, what other types of legal services is this person going to need? Because when you change your perspective from, hey, I'm going to give you just the immediate legal service you came into the door with, as opposed to, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you the legal service you came in the door for, but based on my expertise and my knowledge, I know these other types of services are going to be things or questions that come up in your journey over the next 6 months. So, what you could do is start actually establishing an ongoing relationship with those clients because you know they're going to run into other types of legal matters that they need your input, they need your attention on. And when you focus on it that way, what it does is it helps you actually start to provide more value to your clients, more than just one transaction, but over a series of time. And one of the things that we do know is one of the expensive areas of running a law firm is when it comes down to marketing and the sales effort of attracting new clients to do business with you. If you can come up with a strategy to actually provide value to your clients over a longer period of time, what ends up happening is you don't need to bring in as many new clients into the business because what you will be able to do is you'll be able to add value to clients that you've already served, people who already know and trust you, which means your marketing costs can go down and your revenue and profitability can continually increase. So when we put these two strategies head to head and we said client lifetime value and subscription based pricing, when we looked at these two strategies, we said, all right, based on the pros and the cons of each one, which one would win the 2026 World Cup Law Firm Edition? And as we did the research, we went out and we looked at data, we looked at different firms, we looked at a couple of things like what it would take to actually implement this strategy. We looked at kind of market conditions to say, hey, what do people have an appetite for paying for? And then we also looked at the risk because we looked at, okay, all right, what limitations might you have with the bar association in different states? What limitations might you have with the level of risk of, hey, can this strategy go badly? Or, hey, if it's not managed well, will it get out of hand? And when we looked at all of those strategies, when we did that research, we came to one conclusion that the winner of the 2026 World Cup Law Firm Edition is a client value strategy. Yes, a client lifetime value strategy is something that is easy to implement for any type of firm. You don't have to have a certain service type to be able to implement it. What you can do is you can start changing the way that you think about your client relationships. Is that your client relationships aren't just, hey, you show up for a one time transaction. It is no, we're going to provide you with this service in this one time transaction, but we're also going to find a way to keep in touch with you because we know that, hey, life could bring on more legal representation that you need or more legal support that you need. And what we also found is firms that were implementing a client lifetime value approach or strategy, what they also did is they opened the door for them to get more referrals because by staying in touch with your clients to understand what things have changed in their life to provide them more value, what we also notice is they indirectly started getting more referrals. Because if you stay in touch with the people who already know and trust you, it was much easier for them to remember you and tell their friends or tell their family or tell coworkers or tell other people about the services that you offer. And so when we looked at all that, we said, hey, for 2026 World Cup Law Firm Edition, the client lifetime value is an ultimate winner. It has gone through each of the rounds and it has arrived at the finals as the number one winner. Now, I will tell you, stay tuned because in the next video, we're going to tell you how you can get a copy of the workbook and it is going to be good. So thank you so much for joining us and being with us through this World Cup series.